Welcome to another daily edition of Litter Media Live here on Litter Media YouTube, Facebook, and Litter Media Radio. I'm Dan Ramey, and in with us today is Mr. Hand to Aaron Glandon. And thank you for joining us here this morning.
You're welcome.
Mike is taking a little time off this morning because he's headed to Zanesville later today for girls high school basketball. I'll be over at Jackson tonight, and you have a rare night off.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
What are you going to do with your night off?
I don't know. There's a young adult group at my church that meets on Wednesday nights, so I'll probably go to that.
Good. That's good. Make sure that you stay tuned up spiritually.
Led by
That's the way to do it.
Eric Alsop.
Is that right? He's a good guy. All right, coming up in just a moment, we'll get you caught up to date with what's happening with news, sports, a bunch of sports today, as well as this date in history. I haven't looked to see what day we go back to. Let me see here. Litter Media Wayback Machine is dialed up for 1929. Details just ahead. But first, a look at our forecast. And we're looking at some cloud cover today. There is a chance of rain. We'll have temperatures reaching near 60 again. We'll be in the low 50s for tomorrow as well as Friday. Chance of rain for your Thursday, and for Friday, partly sunny conditions as we head into Statehood Day weekend. Excited about that. All right, coming up in just a moment, a look at news. But first, let's tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. For nearly 5 decades, they've been taking care of the comfort in your home. If you need their services, click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, and it will take you right to their website, AccurateHVAC.com.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance, on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Crazy. Haynes Total Health Care Center has your chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs covered. You know, they are in the top 1% of people being seen by a chiropractor.
Wow.
They see 50,000 patients a year.
And one of them is my mom.
And me.
And you.
I was there probably 50,000 times during,
That sounds
during
about
the
right.
summer when I was going through my back issues. But happy to have Haynes part of our community. They've been doing this for 50 years now. And if you want to find out more about Haynes, their services, their times, location, all that stuff, just click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. And it takes you right to their website, which is hayneshealth.com. News you'll find on our website, littermedia.com. And I happen to see inside the workings of our website, Mike has a couple of stories that have yet to launch.
Ooh.
So we have more news that will be coming your way today.
Stay tuned.
You will want to follow our website, littermedia.com. At the top of our news today, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources has confirmed the presence of avian influenza in waterfowl at Chillicothe's Yoctangee Park. This announcement follows routine surveillance and testing conducted by wildlife health officials. Now, while the risk of transmission to humans is low, the Chillicothe Parks and Recreation Department urges residents to take these precautions. Avoid direct contact with wild birds and their droppings. I don't like to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Do not handle sick or dead birds. Report any sightings to ODNR at 1-800-WILDLIFE. Keep your pets away from waterfowl and their habitats. And follow proper hygiene practices, such as washing your hands thoroughly after visiting parks. And these precautions, if you miss those, can be found in this web story at littermedia.com.
Join the Ross County Park District tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for an early bird nature hike at Kinnikinnick Fen. Witness nature waking up and the plants returning to life. Come and stretch those legs for a 1.5-mile hike and break that cabin fever with their naturalist, Ted Hagerman. Expect some rain and a bit of mud. Free and fun for all ages. Have you ever been to Kinnikinnick?
I've been by it. I've driven past it, but I haven't been to it.
It's kind of like it's a wide path and there's trees over you. It kind of feels like you're in the Shire.
Is that right?
It's really cool.
See, I can do that in my backyard, living out in the country down in Pike County.
But you don't have a naturalist guiding you.
That's true. I am the naturalist walking through there. And not as in, whenever I think naturalist, I always have this, oh, you mean like really getting back to nature? You don't wear clothes? That's not the case. Not the case. But I always think that whenever I hear naturalist for whatever reason. But this is out by Pickaway Ross Career Technology Center, right?
And Ted will be clothed.
Okay, which is good. In his park ranger outfit, right?
Yes.
All right, Saturday, the Ross County community is celebrating Ohio's founding. We turn 222 years old this Saturday, and the Statehood Day events will be taking place. Several of Chillicothe's finest museums and historic sites will be open for free. We spoke with the new executive director of the Ross County Historical Society, Andrew Hall, yesterday about the days.
If you have some time in the morning, you can hit up places like the David Nickens Center or the Lucy Webb Hayes House. They're going to have hours starting from 10 a.m. If you've got more time in the afternoon, you've got folks like the Genealogical Society or the Ross County Historical Society, where we will be open from 1 to 5. And all of these museums are open free of charge. Really, what we are doing is we're trying to capture the energy of Statehood Day to really inspire people to learn more about their local history and about the state that they live in as well.
You can hear more of what Andrew had to share on our YouTube channel as well as our video section on Facebook for that entire interview. And don't forget also, it all starts with the Statehood Day breakfast, which will take place at the First Presbyterian Church over off of Meade Drive. Trying to remember that Bellevue. Meade comes into Bellevue. But if you've ever been to that part of town, it is the most colonial-looking building that you'll find in Chillicothe, and it's a great place to be. I think the breakfast starts at 8 or 8:30 Saturday morning.
All right. Arts Around, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting the arts in Pickaway County, is the sponsor for a new winter acoustic music series at Toodle's Pumpkin Inn. The series will take place every Thursday in March from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., providing a welcoming space for local musicians and art enthusiasts to connect. The Winter Acoustic Music Series kicks off Thursday, March 6th at 8 p.m.
I've only been in Toodle Inn once, Toodle's Pumpkin Inn, and the reason I was there was when Mom and Dad had Ramey's Sinclair. One of the vendors had come through. I can't remember if he was like the Pepsi man or who, but I was 6 years old at the time, and he said, "You want to go on a trip?" Okay, where are we going? Going to Circleville. And Mom and Dad were trusting to let me go with him, get a ride in the truck, and go to, his delivery was to Toodle's Pumpkin Inn.
There you go.
6 years old. The good old days. Liberty Township Volunteer Fire Department is having a pasta dinner. Life is full of possibilities. I like how it says that. They'll host this on March 8th, 3 until 7 p.m. The proceeds will go to the fire department.
Yes.
Got your eyes back on?
Yeah, I was cleaning my glasses there. Sorry. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Forestry is urging Ohioans to follow the state's outdoor burning regulations and to take precautions if they plan to burn debris this spring. Ohio law dictates that most outdoor burning is prohibited in unincorporated areas from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., March through May.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to get some burning done, you got a few days to do it before you have to hit those 6-to-6 regulations there. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at sports. A lot of basketball is going on. Bowling begins today for some of our local kids. That and more just ahead. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. You got a cleanup job that's going on at your residence or at your business. Maybe you just need a dumpster all the time. Scioto Valley Dumpsters can take care of that for you, whether it's for a short period or a longer period. 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Time for sports now, and we begin with our high school roundup with the basketball tournaments. Unioto controlled their game with Fairfield Union from the get-go, and we rolled out to a 60-44 victory in the D4 tourney at Southeastern High School. This was right after Waverly had upset Jackson 51-49. So Unioto and Waverly will meet in the district championship game tomorrow night at the Convo. It's an 8:15 tip-off, and we'll take the air with Litter Media Radio about 8:05. Meggs and New Lexington will play in the first game at 6:15. Big wins for Miami Trace, 79-71 over Warren, and the Panthers remain undefeated. Eastern Pike advanced to the win over Reedsville Eastern. Fairfield ended the season for Western Pike. And moving on to the Convo on Sunday will be Eastern at noon, followed by what could be Huntington. They play tonight against Peoples at Jackson, and we'll have coverage of that about 8:20 this evening for that game on Litter Media Radio. So they could be playing at noon or at 2 p.m. on Sunday at the Convo. Already there, Miami Trace at 4 p.m. and Fairfield will be there at 6 p.m. So it'll be a long day Sunday at the Convo. Mike Smith is going to be at Zanesville High School tonight on Litter Media Radio with play-by-play of Unioto and Avon Lake in the girls D3 Sweet 16. He'll start about 5:50 on Litter Media Radio, and then his game will no doubt be done by unless they go into extended overtimes for some reason. Then I will be back at Jackson with Huntington and Peebles coming your way. Girls action last night, Fairfield Union steamrolled Indian Creek 65-24. They advanced to the Elite Eight at Zanesville High School. They'll face Carrollton, who was a 41-39 winner over Buckeye Valley last night. The regional championship match is Friday night at 7 p.m. Division I bowling sectionals begin today in Coshocton for most of our area larger schools like Chillicothe, Miami Trace, and Logan, those kids. They are getting together with the East District teams for one sectional taking place at Legacy Lanes in Coshocton. We should have some results for you later today on littermedia.com. The All Mid-State League Buckeye Division team has been released, and Hamilton Township Junior Javon McBride, who you've seen dunk basketballs.
Yes.
He was named Player of the Year averaging more than 25 points per game for the Rangers in their league title run. Coach of the year was Hamilton's Brendan Matthews, and he is the coach of the year. The first of the team includes Circleville's Cole Nungester, also Lucas King of Hamilton Township, Bloom Carroll's Trice Chafin, Nehemiah Wall from Logan Elm, along with Liberty Union's Luke Williams and Keegan Arnett from Fairfield Union. Cleveland Cavaliers had a 122-82 win, 40 points last night in Orlando. Now, the Cavs have won 8 straight in 9 of their last 10 games. They will play at Boston Friday night. Columbus Blue Jackets, a 6-4 winner over Dallas last night. They've won back-to-back games. Up next, they'll travel to Detroit tomorrow night, and then they'll meet again, the two teams, on the ice at Ohio Stadium for that outdoor game Saturday. St. Trace grad Cam Evans had 19 points in the OAC tournament opening round game for Otterbein last night. Unfortunately, the Cardinals fell to Muskingum, so Evans finishing an illustrious career for Otterbein. He is 7th on the all-time scorers list with 1,833 points. He averaged 18.1 points per game and scored in double figures 22 times this season. Congratulations, Cam Evans, on a fantastic career at Otterbein. The OSU women are in action tonight as they host Michigan State. That'll be a 7 o'clock start. The Buckeye men are on the West Coast, and it's a 10:30 start against USC. So if you're staying up late, looking for some basketball action,
It's only 7:30 there.
it's the Bucks and the Trojans, right? 3 hours difference time there.
I remember when I was in LA, the Super Bowl was happening, and it was like 3 p.m. And it felt so weird to be watching the Super Bowl in the afternoon.
When we were in Hawaii back in 1993, the Browns and the Bengals were actually playing that day. We were up having breakfast. We're eating breakfast in Hawaii. Now, there's 6 hours difference. They were showing post-game highlights of the game.
So it was a 1 o'clock game?
It was a 1 o'clock game in Cincinnati. And so we're sitting in Honolulu watching highlights during breakfast. Weirdest feeling ever. You know? I asked the bus driver because we were on this trip that I was hosting through a radio station in Columbus at the time, and my wife and I were part of this trip. So we were hosting the group that flew out to Honolulu. And then they went on to the rest of the islands for a second week, and we were going back to mainland USA. So we had this tour bus, one of the big like Greyhound buses, just Missy and I and the bus driver. So I'm sitting behind him while we're driving, and we're asking questions as we're being taken back to Honolulu's airport. And I asked him, I said, how do you guys, and now remember, this is before the internet, how do you guys wager on NFL games and any other game? And he says, we just go ahead and just, our body clocks are 6 hours behind. The game's already done, but how do you wager on those games? You know? So you'd have to it's almost like working in advance.
Yeah.
So if you're a gambler, you figured it out, I guess. But it just struck me as, the game's done. By the time you wake up, you're kind of putting money out there to see what happens. So that was pretty cool. I'd like to go back to Hawaii someday.
Well, I guess if you wake up at 7 a.m., you could watch it as it happens.
You could.
If it's a 1 o'clock game.
If you had to get up that early. A buddy of mine, Sunday school student, now in the U.S. Marine Corps, Gary Richmond, landed in Hawaii at his commissioned base. I believe it's over at Hickam Air Base. So congratulations to Gary. He was kind of disappointed. He was wanting to go to Japan, but he gets Hawaii.
What a shame.
Boo-hoo, right? So maybe I'll go visit him in Hawaii. I have a reason to go now.
There you go.
A reason to go to see my buddy.
Maybe we should all take a Litter Media trip to Hawaii.
That'd be nice. When Huntington's kids went last spring, They went last March, and this would have been the senior trip that they had. And I told them, I said, hey, you need a media representative to go with you, right? They weren't agreeable to that because I wanted to go for free. That's not going to happen. So, and it didn't happen. But I did get to see pictures from my granddaughter who went on that trip. Coming up, a look at this date in history. What happened in 1929? I've not even read it yet. I'll find out when you find out. Next.
First, we want to tell you about litter quality propane online all the time. Customer payment, account information, and more. Log on at litterpropane.com.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old. Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. The number 988, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Save the number, save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com. And it takes you to an informational page where you can learn more. Time for this date in history, the year 1929. Grand Teton National Park is established. This is a controversial move that inspires changes of Eastern domination, or make the charges of Eastern domination of the West. Congress established Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, home to some of the most stunning alpine scenery in the United States. The territory in and around Great Teton National Park also has a colorful human history. The first Anglo-American to see the saw-edged Teton Peaks is believed to be John Coulter, not to be confused with the Coulter of Tracker, the CBS TV show.
I was not confused.
After traveling with Lewis and Clark to the Pacific, Coulter left the expedition during his return trip down the Missouri in 1807 to join two fur trappers headed back into the wilderness. He spent the next 3 years wandering through the northern Rocky Mountains, eventually finding his way into the valley at the base of the Tetons, which would later be called Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where a lot of folks go for vacations.
He was just wandering for 3 years.
Can you imagine? I recall as a kid, we went out to Rocky Mountains. This would have been back in 1973, I believe. So I was like in the 5th grade. And I remember I saw hills in southern Ohio. I'd been to the Great Smoky Mountains, but to see the Rockies was a much different experience. And to see it from the air is yet even different from what you saw in the photo there. But can you imagine seeing that for the first time as an explorer?
That would be cool.
That would be cool. And Sunday night, The Americas was first shown on NBC. And if you've not had a chance to see that, Tom Hanks is the narrator for it. Vibrant video. I was always huge looking at the National Geographic photography and everything that they've done all over the world. And this is right along. This was something 5 years in the making, I think they said, filming of all these rams going at it, leopards and all kinds of wildlife. Not only that, but aquatic adventures. They've featured the Appalachian Mountains and trying to think what was the other one, Mexico last week. So there's a lot more to come in this series, The Americas. And if you stream with Peacock, you'll be able to watch it all on demand.
I saw some when I was at my parents' house the other day. And
Really?
My mom said,
just stunning video.
My mom went, "Is this that thing with Tom Hanks?" And then she was glued to the screen. She loves Tom Hanks.
And it's almost like you're sitting there and you're watching it. And if you've ever watched Castaway, where most of the video is Tom just being by himself, and that volleyball that he named Wilson.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of dialogue, but you just think, okay, this is what Tom Hanks would have been saying if he had someone to talk to on the island when he was a castaway.
There was one scene with snakes that she had to look away because she hates snakes.
I'm not a big snake fan either, and I was with her on that. But it was pretty cool to see that. I didn't know cactuses or cacti in the Mexican desert grew to 50 feet tall.
50 feet?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
And I'm trying to think of the name of the bird, but there's a bird who makes its nest by burrowing a hole in the side up towards the top, and then they lay their eggs, and then when it's time for the kids to leave the nest, she kicks them right out. And one, she couldn't get to leave the cactus, and so she goes down and she snatches a lizard, comes back up and starts chirping to him, and it's like, oh, she's got food, okay. And then he jumps out of the cactus.
That's how I have to kick Chuck out of my bedroom at night.
Is that right?
Because he just wants to stay and cuddle.
Chuck, if you don't know, is...
Yes, my cat.
The cat. He's not cuddling with someone else named Chuck.
He just wants to stay and sit in my lap. But then he gets in my face in the middle of the night, and it's really annoying, and I can't sleep, so I have to kick him out.
Well, and we have cats as well. Bucky and Joey, they've been part of our lives for years. Missy's always had cats, and so I married into a cat family. And so Joey is like 23 pounds, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And he's a big cat, and he likes to lay at the foot on my side of the bed. And sometimes I can't get into the bed with my feet down there because he's nailed down the covers. So, but he just enjoys sleeping on that bed.
Yeah.
Rarely gets up in my face in that regard.
How old is he?
He is... this is debatable. Missy and I have talked about this a few times. I think he's older than she says, because it seems that we got him as a kitten when Dan Jr. first came back for his first home visit during the military. He went in 2003, and I want to say it was 2004 when he came home for the first time.
So this is an old cat.
So he's... I think he's 20 years old. Missy says that's not the case.
Chuck is still real young, so I'm sure he'll grow out of it, but I'm just waiting for that to happen.
Bucky's about 6 or 7 years old, and I have said Bucky is the last cat. That's it. When these guys use their 9 lives, then I'm done with cats.
Yeah,
because I'm the one that has to change the litter box.
Me too.
So.
Jacob Meredith says we need to take him to Hawaii.
I'm telling you, that'd be good for anybody to make that trip. I know when we went, Missy, who has always had knee trouble, we got there and it was totally gone. She said that it must have been the environmental change, the atmospheric change. We were there in October, which it rained every day. We would usually wake up and it had rained. But then it was sunshine the rest of the day. And it was just, I swear, that's been 30 years ago now, 31 or 32 years. And I still have memories of it that seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah. You know, that story reminds me of, there's a group of people who hate the character Grandpa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because, you know, the whole family's bedridden and they don't get out of bed.
Right.
And then Charlie comes home with his golden ticket and he gets up and starts dancing. Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, why didn't you work, you lazy bum?
Trying to remember his name. Was it Jack Albertson?
I don't know.
He was, I think, if I remember correctly, he was in Chico and the Man. He was the man who Freddie Prinze, not Freddie Prinze Jr., but Freddie Prinze was the Latino that was working for the old man. So he's been an old man most of his life.
Yeah.
From what we saw. So, and then made it into, and I wasn't a big fan of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It's all right.
I just didn't like it. It had a little too much Wizard of Oz type feel to it for me. And, you know, the kid falling into the chocolate vat, that didn't seem to be right. No. You know, and I just never, I don't know, there's people probably screaming at us right now like, oh, it was a great movie. I just never got into that movie.
It's all right.
I liked Gene Wilder, but yeah. I didn't like, you know, that movie. And I can't say that I saw the remake because I didn't like the first one. Why would I want to watch it again?
I've seen them both.
Yes. Which do you find is your favorite?
They're both whatever.
So it was just so for you.
The songs are better in the original.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And we'll leave it at that.
And that's that.
That's our movie reviews, our trip review, and news for the day. If you want to find out more, go to our website, littermedia.com. Follow us here on Facebook as well as on Litter Media X. We'll keep you up to date with scores and everything on Litter Media X. And, of course, we'll have Litter Media radio coverage tonight to the Unioto girls in the D3 regional semifinal. They're on to the Sweet 16. Mike Smith will be at Zanesville High School. I'll be at Jackson with the Huntington Huntsmen and the Peebles Indians. That'll be later on this evening, about 8:20. So until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you soon here on Litter Media.